Hi guys, it's me Mark, and today I'm going to be doing my video on my coming out story. I did a video before, but the audio wasn't really good. You couldn't hear me a lot, so I deleted the video, and people have been constantly asking me for the video again, so I'm gonna do it now. And okay, so let me start. It was one day, I'm arguing with my dad. This is me coming out to my dad and my stepmom. I'm arguing with my dad, and then we just all arguing in my room and stuff. We arguing about some stupid shit. And my stepmom's like sitting on my bed, and then we're just arguing, and she's like, "Oh, just be yourself." So she was telling me, "Oh, just be yourself. That it doesn't matter." So and then I just came out and I was like, "All right." So I was like, "I like boys and girls." I was like, "I'm bisexual," and it just came out. And like at that moment, I felt so much weight off my shoulders. I felt like a ton, a ton of bricks came off my shoulder. Like I felt like nothing can beat me. Like the world cannot beat me. I felt invincible. And like the expression on my dad's face, like he didn't even know what to say to me. My stepmom was just like, "Oh, it's okay. Like we're still gonna love you." And then later on that night, when like everything cooled off and stuff, I had texted my dad, and I was like, "Oh, come downstairs, let's talk." So and then just me and him by himself, and then I told him, I was like, "I don't want you to think that me being like I don't want you to think my preferences are gonna change who I am as a person. Just because I'm bisexual doesn't mean that like my goals are gonna change or anything's gonna change about me. It's just something that I needed to tell you guys because I felt like I was hiding myself, and I always preach that to everyone. I always preach to everyone like be yourself, but I wasn't practicing what I was preaching, so I felt like I was going against my word. And he was just like, "Oh, I love you no matter what. Just like respect the house, respect yourself, and that's all that matters. You're still my son." So that right there, that really made me emotional because like I never thought my dad would be okay with it. It was always like I used to be scared to tell him. So once I told him, it felt like I felt invincible. Like I said, I felt like nothing can beat me. So once that happened, I had to tell my mom. So the next day, I called my mom, and I'm like, "Mom, what you doing?" We had a full blown conversation, and then usually when she's about to hang up, she'll be like, "All right, Papa, bendición. If you need anything, call me. I'm just a phone call away." But when I hear she's about to say that, I'm like, "Mom, I need to tell you something." She's like, "Tell me." I was like, "Take a seat." She's like, "Why?" And I'm like, "Because I'm gonna tell you something." So she's like, "What'd you do? You got a tattoo?" I'm like, "No, ma." She was like, "You got someone pregnant?" I'm like, "No, ma." I was like, "Girl, take a seat." I'm like, "You ready?" She's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Ma, I like boys and girls." She was like, "Wait, now let me take a seat." I wasn't sitting down. I wasn't ready for that. And then like she was like, like she started to cry, and I got so emotional because like my mom is really important to me. So for her not to be here and actually give me a hug and be like, "I'm here for you," even though I'm hearing it, I needed like a motherly hug. That's what I wanted at the moment. And I knew that she wanted to give it to me, but she just couldn't. So that broke my heart into pieces. But she's like she was like, "I knew you were too different from everyone else. I knew you were too unique. You always stand out, like you always standing out the crowd." And she was like, "It's okay. I'm gonna be here for you." She was like, "I'm gonna still love you, and whoever comes behind you to my house one day, they're gonna be welcome like anybody else." And that right there, like that really, that's the point. At that point, I was like, you know what? Now, no one's opinion can affect me no more because my parents said it was okay. So why am I gonna care what an irrelevant person is gonna say to me? So after that, I was like, okay, time to tell my brothers and sisters. So that same night, I'm with my sister in the car, and I'm like, "Jenny, I need to tell you something." She's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, remember the time that I went to go see someone and I told you that it was a girl?" She's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Well, you were wrong." I was like, "It was a boy." I was like, "It's a boy." She's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, I went to go see this boy that I used to talk to." She's like, "Mark, are you serious?" I'm like, "Yeah, Jenny, I'm dead ass serious." Then the bitch almost fucking crashed. Like she started to cry and she got all fucking emotional and shit. And she almost fucking crashed into a fucking car. And I'm like, "Girl, just pull over. Let's talk about it." And she was like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, like this is not something that I just woke up with and was like, oh, today I'm gonna be like this. Like I felt this for a long time. I just didn't tell you guys." And she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna still love you like always." She was like, "You're still gonna be my brother." She was like, I'm not fond of it. I'm not a fan of it." But she was like, "I don't hate you and I'm never gonna hate you." And that right there, like that really touched me too. I didn't cry for her because I think she was crying for me because she was crying so much. right there and then, she was like, all right, let's go to your older sister, which is Rosa. So I went to Rosa, I knocked on the door. I'm like, Rosa, I gotta tell you something. She's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know how to tell you, but Rosa's the type to, like, she wants to get to the point. She don't want me to, like cut around the bush. She just wants me to say what it is. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just tell you. I was like, Rosa, I'm bisexual. I like boys and girls. That's it. She went crazy. But just playing around, she was like, oh my fucking God, I fucking do that shit. She was like, I was waiting for your ass. She was like, I knew you couldn't twerk that good for no fucking reason. And, like, she started to cry. And Rosa, my sister Rosa, she's the type not to cry. Like, she doesn't show affection. So for her to say that she loved me and that she was going to be there for me, and I seen her crying not because of anger, but because of emotion, that really broke my heart. I think that one was the most touching one to me because Rosa's not the type to say, oh, Mark, I love you. I think I can count on my hands how many times Rosa said she loved me in my whole life. And that's not something that I'm mad about because that's just the way she is. She's like a rock. It's hard to make her cry. So for her to say, Mark, I love you and I'm going to be there for you and whatever, like whoever got something to say, they're going to have to deal with me. Like that really broke my heart. And I was crying so fucking much. Like I could not stop crying. And she was telling me, she was like, baby boy is going to be okay. Like nothing's going to change between us. She was like, you're still going to be my little brother. I'm still going to ride for you. And if you ever need anything, you could call me, text me, anything. I'm still going to be here for you. So that right there, like that approval, I think that was the most important approval to me because she never showed me approval. For her to give me that approval, that really meant the world to me. So then lastly was my brother Bebo. Me and him are usually on rocky terms, like, but that's still my nigga. I'ma still ride for him. That's still my brother. If he ever need me, I'ma be there. So this one I think was the toughest one. I was so fucking scared because as a kid, he was my father figure. Like, he was the one that I looked up to. Like, oh, Bebo, tell me about this. Teach me about sex and shit like that. So he was the one that always, like, he was like the father figure for me. So once it was to him, I was like, bro, like, this nigga gonna fucking kill me. So we sat in the car, and he told my other sister, Jennifer, to get out the car for we could talk to me and him. So I'm like, Bebo, I need to tell you something. He's like, what? But I was saying that for like 15 minutes, like, I need to tell you something. He was like, what? I was like, I need to tell you something. He was like, what? I was like, I'm scared. For like 15 minutes straight, I was just saying that. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just tell you. I was like, I like boys and girls. That's it. And he was like, what? And I was like, yeah, I like boys and girls. He was like, Mark, I don't care about your preferences. That is what you want to do. That is your choice. That's what you want to live in life. Then that's what you're going to do. But he was like, and I'm not going to deny you as a brother. You're always going to be my brother. I'm always going to claim you. I'm going to always ride for you. He was like, but I'm going to tell you one thing. If I ever catch you with a dress or skirt on, I'm going to bust the cap in your ass. And that's all he said to me. And I was like, all right, you never gonna catch me with a dress or skirt or high heels or anything. So, and he was like, I'm gonna always love you. He was like my other brothers and sisters said, he was like, I'm always still love you. You're always gonna be my brother. It's not gonna change anything between us. So, once I already got my brothers and sisters cleared and my parents cleared, that right there was like, it really opened the key to my heart. Like, it opened my eyes like, bruh, now I don't need to give a fuck what nobody got to say about me. Now I don't need to hide no one. Now I can do what I preach. I can be myself around everyone and not give a fuck what anybody has to say to me. And I did it that way because in my eyes, the people that are close around you are the ones that you should tell beforehand, before like you tell anybody else, before you tell the whole world, because their opinions are the most important to you. So that's why I did it that way. That's why I told my parents, my brothers and sisters first, and then everyone else, they either learn by social media, because I didn't tell nobody else. And it's like, I did it that way because family is important, and it's the people that are close to you that their opinions are the most important to you. And that's why I did it that way. And I think that if you're going to come out, do it that way. Don't do it just social media and just let everyone figure it out. Like, if you want to do it that way, do it that way with your friends. But when it comes down to family and your close people, sit them aside. Tell them, like, you know what, ma, you know what, brother and sister, you know what, family, this is me. I've hid it because I was scared what you were going to tell me, but you shouldn't hide yourself. Like, being yourself is amazing. Like, you make a change by just being yourself in the world. Like, there's no one like you if you haven't noticed. We're all fucking unique. We're all different. So it's like, just be yourself, and if you're going to come out, do it lightly. Don't just throw it on them, because sometimes there are parents that, like, once they say if their daughter's lesbian, I'm never going to have a kid, and, like, they're never going to have a family, and that's what the parents get in their head of, that's what they're scared of. And some parents don't want to accept the truth because they're scared of what society. They're scared for you because of the society. If you haven't noticed, like society is fucked up. Like kids are killing themselves because of what society is telling them. The bullies are like, they're fucking crazy right now. They don't care. They're saying anything and everything to kids, and that's why parents are scared for their kids to come out. But you know what? You can't live in fear. You have to do what you got to do to make yourself happy. Your happiness is key. Your happiness is first before anybody's. So once you're happy, that's it. That's all you need. So like I told you, if you're going to come out, do it lightly. And you know what? Set them aside. Do your family first. And then everybody else, fuck them. Because nobody's opinion is relevant except yours and your family's, alright? So, like I said, this is my coming out story. I hope you grab something from this, and if you're in the process of coming out and you need help, you can comment below and leave comments and stuff and tell me how you feel about my video, okay guys? So thank you and hope you enjoyed. More coming soon.